Hello and welcome to the channel. So today I thought I would introduce myself formally and hopefully paint a picture as to my backstory, give you some more insight from my journey in photography and things I've done to date, things that I'm shocked when I go back and look at what I've done and very proud of, and then looking forward to the future. So welcome. My name is Andrew Stemple. I am an aspiring professional photographer, currently a semi-professional photographer. And that being said, semi-professional photographer is something that I am proud of to date. I have sold some items, and I look forward to selling more, and I look forward to a revenue stream that would be able to support this lifestyle going forward. I want to start out back in the high school days briefly, where I got my introduction in photography. And we had a 35mm black and white film camera, well, 35mm camera that we used black and white film in. And in high school, we were able to take a class that provided some insight to photography basics, as well as the darkroom and imaging processing, which was something that I thought was, I never thought I would enjoy, but it turned out that I was thoroughly blown away with the creative side of a darkroom. And now, of course, we have the digital Lightroom and digital processing. But early on, what really seemed to grab my attention with photography was hiding behind the camera. And I'm sure, somebody can analyze that and tell me all my issues that I've got. I would definitely appreciate that. But it's a separation. Once the camera was up in front of my face, it was a clear distinction and separation that I was either doing something or I was separating myself from that scene. I mentally, there's something about it for me that splits time and the moment there and offers a point of clarity for my mind. And I think I should say throughout this video, I'm going to try to do this without a lot of edits and cuts just because I don't typically enjoy watching videos like that. So I'll get probably inevitably a little scatterbrained. But so that clear distinction of separating yourself really connected to my mind somehow, some way. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that. So starting in photography in high school, working with black and white film, and then the darkroom, of course, and taking paddles and cutting out shapes of what it was that was in the photograph, if you'd like to dodge or burn the processing light from the projector as the film was getting developed. Those things were, I couldn't believe the creativity that comes with the processing side of photography. So fast forward out of high school and working corporate America, of course, you got to make a living, got to make some income, and arts is one of the most difficult places to try to make a living. So photography in high school didn't last very long. It didn't transition into anything. Making a living, making income, and working was what took priority. So advancing through the career and working for corporate America for a number of years, decades, I didn't, like a lot of people, it didn't bring a lot of joy to me. I was working for a corporation that was making billions of dollars a quarter, and I didn't see the purpose for my specific job when they could make investments or shuffle money around and just make another billion. So I lost interest and my attitude suffered, and rightfully so. They let me go. And so it was time. So this was back in 2010. That's when I wanted to revisit some of the things that interested me. And I was yet again helped by my parents, who had always been supportive of myself and my brother. for anything that we wanted to do. Very fortunate childhood that they provided for us, and I'm very grateful for that. So my mother helped by organizing my thoughts, helping me organize my thoughts and putting them down on a piece of paper and making lists, pros and cons. So the things that I enjoyed on the pro side started to be consistent when it was aviation and photography. So between those two areas, it was a nice approach to try to find something in those two areas to sustain a life and find some enjoyment. So I purchased some camera gear back in 2010, Canon Rebel XTI, which I still have, and it still works. It's 2025. It's an amazing, I would recommend a Canon camera. And I set out to try to be creative, and I launched a website and social media and all the whole 9 yards. Along that same time frame, in that same area, I thankfully have an amazing friend and accomplished journalist, Katie Berry, who reached out to me and was going to do some pieces on these random sporting events that she would cover, and for ESPN's Page 2 online blog. And so she asked if I would be interested in taking some photos for some of those events, and of course I was just ecstatic, like absolutely. So we were in Angel Fire, New Mexico, and we shot the snow shovel races, and then we were down in Chandler, Arizona for their Ostrich Festival, and just being on location, shooting with a purpose, to capture the event, of course, and then seeing your name in publication was just very gratifying, right? So that's kind of what sunk my teeth into the photography thing early on. I was struggling, of course, still with what kind of photography am I going to be taking? Am I going to be doing landscape or wildlife or aviation or portraits or weddings? And it seems like, you still have to identify a certain niche, and then you have to stay with that, within those realms, so that, one, you can become better and better at it, and two, you start to build consistency with your fan base, so they know what to expect. So I was struggling with where I was going to go with that and what I was going to do. And I tried to do everything I possibly could. Just being super excited, of course. And hey, it's photography, and I'll try everything. And what you learn quickly is you overextend yourself, and you really have to focus on one or two things and spend the time and accept the fact that the time is going to be a while. It could be a lifetime or more before you either get good at it and or get recognized for your work. So early on, I was just excited, taking photos about everything, from everything, and at everything, and trying to, claim that I was a photographer. So from those events, however, and comparing the list again still too, aviation was still on the list. And sadly, of course, like a lot of us deal with, the income wasn't coming in from photography, and of course I had to pursue something from an income standpoint. So I had the opportunity to relocate to the San Juan Islands up in Washington State, and an absolutely amazing area up there. So gorgeous. I'm sad that I had to leave, but amazingly incredible experience. Beautiful landscape up there. So I started working for a small aviation company up there named Westwood Aviation, with my good friend Dan. And Dan, thank you so much for the opportunity. He had given me a chance to work there without any real experience in the aviation world at the time. So working for that group in aviation and selling my work at local art markets, I really started to see how things could work out, you know. So that was when I was doing photography and selling seasonally at local markets, and then working at the aviation side of things. I also started pilot training at the time with that group too. Again, great group up there. And so all that to say is that's when everything started to mold, and that's when I could see where, hey, maybe something in aviation, maybe something in photography, the blend could happen and it could work out. I had started to submit works to the local events up there. There was a state fair that I took second place from a photograph that I took of Limekiln Lighthouse, and just a beautiful scene shot in November. Lots of storms they get up there, winter storms and high winds, and the waves are choppy. And I love the way that on a little bit of a slower exposure, how you can see a nice little texture in the waves. So started to see where my work can be recognized. That started to make me feel really good. Selling at local art markets, again, the interaction and the sales, just they started year after year. For a couple of years they started ramping up, and I was excited. It was just very, very pleased, very happy, very excited to see where it was going to go. There was a supermoon photograph that I had taken, and of the second lighthouse up there, called Cattle Point Lighthouse. And I'll never forget the woman who came to my booth and was staring at that photo for the longest time. And I'm typically one to just allow people to look, even if I have a booth. Sometimes you won't even find me in the booth. I would rather have someone enjoy my work at their leisure without feeling any type of interaction from me. But that's my own quirkiness, because side story, I worked in sales for a little while. I lasted for about 6 months, and it was high pressure jewelry sales, and it was terrible. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that feeling of being sold and selling. So I let her, just let her walk. So she came to the counter with it, and she asked if it was just the other night at the time. And I said, yeah, and I was trying to get the timing to where the lighthouse itself was lit as well as the moon, and I was laying on the ground with my 1 to 400 millimeter telephoto, again with the Canon Rebel XTI, and trying to time the shot. And so she says it's absolutely exactly how I remembered it. And we had this fantastic moment. I'm like, oh, I was so excited, And so then she proceeded to tell me that that was the same evening that her husband had passed away. And every happy thought, right, immediately got crushed, to where I couldn't give her enough things. I had greeting cards that shared similar photographs, and I was like, here, take some of these, and apologize profusely. But it was a compliment, because she thought that I had captured it exactly the way that she remembered it. And she ended up taking that photo home, and I'm sure it's still proudly on display in her house. And that moment, those interactions, to be able to look at a photo and maybe see some joy in it from something that happened that was so terrible. It could have also been a peaceful moment for them. I don't know his story. It could have been a peaceful moment to let him go. And she could have walked to a window and looked out and had seen that scene and maybe felt some comfort. So it's those types of things and moments that photography can be very, very powerful. And it could transport you throughout time instantly, similar to musicians. And you hear a song in a certain phase of your life, and then you play it 10 years later, and you're immediately transported back. So those moments selling up at the art markets up there, very proud, and it really brought a lot of joy. The interaction brought a lot of joy to me that I didn't think that I would normally appreciate, being that I am kind of introverted and want to give space and don't want to feel like I'm pressuring anybody. But I do miss that. Advancing today, where we do a lot of this stuff online, and you're looking for some kind of comments, which of course would be nice, positive would be better, right? And you're looking for that interaction electronically. There's nothing better than the art market, and face to face for me. That was something that was so powerful, and I crave that very much. I've learned that about myself. I crave that a lot. So this was back in like 2012, 13-ish is when I was doing the art market stuff. Sliding the aviation thing back into the mix, I started to pursue getting my private pilot's license. My father at the time was going through a divorce, and I had him up on the island for a visit, and he had done some flight training when he was younger, and then my brother had received his private pilot's license when we were kids. And so it's always been huge in our family, and I wanted to share that with my dad as a story. My dad did it, I did it. So I was always nervous, and it was always a money thing, of course, very difficult. I picked probably two of the most expensive hobbies / hopefully interests that would turn into careers that I could possibly pick. Aviation and photography have to be the two most expensive things out there. So anyway, he had thrown a business card at me when we went to Westwind Aviation, and he just said, give these guys a call. So that's what started me going to the school and starting the journey down the road to my private pilot's license. Sadly, I left the island. I had to leave the island. I came back to Phoenix, continued my flight training, and happy to report received my private pilot's license in 2020. But coming back to Phoenix, also I wanted to keep, with that much change again, I wanted to stay true to that list that my mother had helped me make. And so I stayed in aviation and received a job offer out at Sky Harbor Airport. And again, the photography at that point completely got separated. When you're going from local art markets and you just pack, I have all kinds of, I probably should make another video. I still have all kinds of photographs that I've printed and mounted and matted that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with. I would love to sell them, but it separates. It was a clear, clean break, right? So I came back and needed income, and here we go again. So the photography got put on the back burner, and I started working very hard and worked my way up in aviation at Sky Harbor. But while the aviation side has brought me much more joy than corporate America, I still can't. I still struggle with the balance and between the two, between being creative and just problem solving, right, for a paycheck. So in 2022, I believe, is when I made the decision to split ways and go back into photography full time. So what helped, I think, put myself back into the photography side again with much more gumption and much more drive to make this, become a better photographer, for one, to learn more, to be better, but to also turn it into something that's successful, was when my dad passed away. So we lost him in 2022, and he, we had the moment, we had the ability, I had the ability to be able to share with him the aviation side. I had received my pilot's license 2 years prior, and so we could share stories about that. And I could feel very proud that my father had raised two pilots, one being my brother and the other one being me. So all of that to say that I wanted to return to the creative side of things, right? So excuse me. So I and now I bought new gear. So I have new gear. I have a new focus, and I have a new drive to just be more focused on photography and give it what it really needs, and push myself in photography. So that was in 2022, and in between those years, there's a group that I volunteer with out at Historical Falcon Field here in Mesa, Arizona. And that group operates World War II aircraft. And my great uncle, who was a ball turret gunner on a B-17 during World War II, who was killed in action over France, that aircraft, that same type of aircraft, would fly over the house on a regular basis. And so, again, the aviation theme started to come back in. So I went and started to volunteer with that group and worked my way up through the ranks as a volunteer, but assisted that group with photos. I worked on their social media pages and excuse me, and changed their social media pages out and organized some things. And I started to amass a portfolio of images that showcased their aircraft. So at one point, they were looking for images to go ahead and use for publications and things. And we negotiated a price that matched the same as a life membership to the organization. So that's just one piece that I'm extremely proud of, that even though you're looking for income, there are bigger things at play. And so between my great uncle serving and my connection with the aircraft, and that being able to see that organization put so much time and money and effort, all from volunteers, into keeping an aircraft flight worthy, so that we can commemorate and honor those who served, just like my great uncle in that aircraft. Very, very powerful connection. So I was extremely proud to be able to negotiate that price, turn that price right back into the organization, become a life member through my work. And that's just something that I am extremely proud of. For that organization as well, you'll see my work throughout. I have my work on their pamphlets. You'll see my work featured in a number of information booklets that they have, both on the B-17 and the B-25, as well as the C-47 is getting a new book here. It's not quite out yet, but I was just approached by the group again, and I should have the centerfold for that group, for that booklet as well. And I'm just extremely proud to be able to give back to that group. If you're in the Mesa, Arizona, I suggest you check them out. Excuse me. So that was my story to date. The ups and downs, the ins and outs. And let's see. So now if I go back to like 2022, I told you I'd be probably scatterbrained a little bit. But advancing back to 2022, through all those publications and all those items and works that I've shared, again, I had to rebuild the website because I took it down, took all my stuff down, rebuilt the website and rebuilt the social media pages, and here we are. I now have a van that's going to support me in the field, which I'm very excited for 2025 and going forward. And again, new gear, and just it's at a time where there's a lot of new things happening, and so I'm very excited for that, to see what comes next. Sadly, the only thing that that the person who influenced me the most, I should say, and had been the by far the most supportive, we lost last year when my mother passed away after a bout of cancer. So I'm still taking her lessons with me today. Still going to make those lists. Still going to have the pros and cons and whatever I need to do going forward. But it's now, it's all the struggles, right? It's all the struggles. It's all the things that you have to do. I couldn't do these things and struggle this much without the help of all of people involved, like my father, my mother, my family and friends. If you're watching this, thank you very much. It's 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 a it's a challenge. The art industry is very much a challenge. But again, all that to say that that's been my journey up until this point. I'm looking forward to new things in 2025. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comments below, as I know you know. And I look forward to the journey in 2025. I look forward to capturing new things, learning more stuff, sharing more things, having experiences. This was one that was recently out at the Superstition Mountains. I just got back from shooting the Superstition Mountains for the past 3 days, or on a three-day trip, I should say. And the van has been fantastic. There'll be some more videos on that, I'm sure. But this was just a little bit of, I wanted to share my journey in photography and my passion and where it came from and where I think it might lead to, and my excitement within all of that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support. Thank you for, if you tell somebody about me, thank you. If you are commenting or liking my stuff, thank you. All these things are huge. Otherwise, it is kind of a void. The digital era, the digital world is kind of a void at times, and it can be a lot. So every little bit helps. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video.